Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Live at the Roxy. That was the cutest wave I've ever freaking seen. I can't even wait to introduce her. Wendy Lee Szany in the
Yay! Hello,
house.
everybody. Little finger hearts. How are you, Rox?
Wait, what is little finger hearts?
In
That makes like
K-pop,
a little heart.
yeah, you press your thumb and your see the little
Am I
outline
doing
of
it
a heart.
wrong?
Yeah, no, you're doing it right. Just turn your fingers like no, there.
Wait,
You had it.
it's like rogue fingers.
No, you have it. You have it. Little finger hearts.
Yours are
In
so much
K-pop, that's
cuter
what they
than
do.
mine. I
They're
have really messed up hands in general that like do
What?
creepy things.
I can't
So
do that with
it's hard
mine.
for me to like pinch things. I can't I don't know how to point either.
What the heck? Wait,
I know. It's
mine kind
so
of popped weird
weird.
like that.
That's gonna be the kind of show it is today because we've got weird stuff going on. Also, I want to let you guys know. I know that you guys at home make fun of me for having my tea every single stream like a psycho. And one of the first things that Wendy said to me, she was like, "Oh, you and your tea."
Yeah, I was like, the pandemic has changed a lot, but it has not changed Roxy and her relationship with tea.
It's so strange how much tea I drink because I think that hot tea is good for every occasion. But in LA right now, it's like 95 degrees outside, and I'm still sitting here with my boiling hot tea.
Are
I
you
don't,
sweating a little bit?
yeah. Well, first of all, I'm sweating not a little bit, a ton because I have no AC, girl.
Why?
Because
No.
because poor people life.
Yeah, I get
because
that. I get that.
because live by myself and AC is expensive. I bought a window unit for my bedroom,
Good for
but
you.
it can't do both things. And my living room doesn't have the capability for that. Like based on how the windows are, I couldn't put an AC thing in there. And I live in a converted garage, so it's just got like horrible install. This is what we
Oh
talked about. Koi came on the
no.
stream yesterday, and Koi, I can't even complain because Koi's living in a garage right now, but his is more of a garage, and it's like way worse. He's got
Did he
cockroaches and
move?
mice. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no. Oh no.
there's a move out. So I feel bad bitching, but I've got them spiders and it's hot as hell in here. So
Oh no, Rox. I don't
I know.
I can't do with the spiders. When I lived in Pasadena, we also didn't have like central AC. So I had a little window unit, but we try not to use it because you're right, it's expensive AF.
Yeah.
And that's still like the mentality I have today where I'm kind of like, oh, how hot is it outside? How hot can I take it in the apartment? And it's like just run all the fans, open some of the windows and and
You
just
know,
maybe wear like no clothes until the sun goes down.
even I like the sound of that.
Hey.
Even as a teenager, there was something about I used to do this thing in this is so weird, but I used to do this thing because I grew up obviously in Boston where it was fucking freezing. It would
Mhm.
be below 7 degrees, and I would have to get in the car and go to school. And I wouldn't turn my heat on in the car until I had done something that I felt like that day was deserving of me having heat. Who knows what that says about my psyche or
Whoa, you
what?
like really trained yourself. That's what you
Yeah.
were doing. You were training like, I don't know,
Well,
self preservation, self
I don't even
survival skills.
know. But even at that point, I knew, you use more gas. Gas is expensive. Don't want to pay for more gas. So until you do something that makes you deserving of putting the heat on, you stay fucking cold, bitch. And and that has been me forever. I don't know, something about the heat and the AC. It's like just you got to earn that.
Yeah,
You got to earn a good temperature. But I'm
yeah,
also never comfortable. Like I'm never temperaturely comfortable. I'm always either hot or cold. I'm never like,
yeah.
oh, this is a nice temperature to be at.
I think
Ever.
that's the struggle for maybe ladies because I know like I'm always either too hot or I'm too cold. So it's like if it's like 74, perfect. 73, I'm freezing. Gotta
You
put on a
remember
sweater.
in the Collider studios, we had the issue of like, oh my God, there was always a temperature issue. But
I
I
have stories.
remember so many times on live, however the air worked, it wouldn't come into that room.
Nope.
And so I would walk out drenched, like legit dripping. And you guys would all be like, it's freezing out here. And I would be like, it's so hot. I'm so hot right now.
The
Uh,
AC there is really weird because if you work out in the common space, you're right, it's always freezing. Like poor John Roca actually sat underneath the vent.
And the vent is like a big pipe. It's just like a big circle of cold air. It's not like a vent. It's like a big industrial pipe of cold.
And it just all blasts on Roca. So he's always in like his like winter coat. And then, yeah, you're right. And any of the other smaller offices, along with the podcast room, would never get the right amount of air or any airflow in there. So I would always feel bad that like you guys, we try to crank up the AC as much as we can before a show, but then you guys would still come out sweating. I remember Josh would come up with like, if he wore a gray, if he wore like a gray shirt was probably our worst enemy in that office because either you're cold or you're sweating.
Yeah, 100%. Wait, what was it before Mark Fernandez moved Collider in there? What was in the building?
It was a company that worked on 3D movie equipment. It was a company called 3reality. I don't know. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened to them.
But you would think they would need temperature. Like that's a company that would. I was just thinking,
that
is
place
it something
was always
that
cold when I used to, because I had friends who worked there. It was always freezing. But I never went inside their offices, so I don't know what they kept in. Maybe they didn't keep people in those offices. Maybe they just kept things.
I really don't know. But the temperature was never right. What I do know is you guys at home are awesome. Thank you for joining us today. Let's go to some of these things. Larry Lease always pimping out the stream. Appreciate you, Larry. He says, Rockstars, hit that like button.
Hey.
It takes 1 second. Just hit it. Why am I doing it like this? What are these two fingers for the...
You gotta make finger hearts.
Hold on.
Little hearts. Pew, pew.
Yeah. Why can't you get it?
You just turn your hands like 45 degrees. There, perfect.
Is that perfect? Why does it look so weird? Yours is so cute.
I've practiced. I've watched too much K-drama and K-pop.
No, yours is amazing. Larry also says, Roxy, as manager, you must pick up Mark Bernardin. He's the best free agent out there. So, Wendy, have you seen all this that it's going down with Schmoedown?
I'm not caught up. I need like a few more days to catch up. But what are you
There's a lot of Schmoedown drama going down. Good drama. But
what is Schmoedown without good drama?
Right, true.
Without the drama.
So
I live for it.
They're doing Inner Geekdom and Star Wars Zoom tournaments because we can't do them in person. So they just launched that. And right now the managers have like literally we have like 1 day to drop players, pick up players, figure out who's in our tournament. I will say, Larry, Mark Bernardin is awesome. I think he's great. I'm trying to figure out my stuff right now. I really need an awesome Star Wars player. Obviously, I have the champion and Alex Damon, but he can't compete because he's the champ. So I'm looking at some things. Doing my due diligence.
I'm guessing Ken Knapsack is not, since I'm so out of date.
Yeah, he's on a team. He's on a team.
I figure he's out of play.
Yeah, Can
it be brand new players?
They have to be like pre-approved by Christian, maybe, or by the commissioner. I don't know, but there's a list. I'm trying to figure it out. It's tough right now.
Can we go Sam Whitwer?
Oh my God, wouldn't that be freaking incredible?
Ace game.
That would be so good. iGeekness or EY Geekness. Roxy, you got screwed over at Rotten Tomatoes Lost. You should have easily won. You had the best arguments and choices, though I disagree with you on the finale. I just did a Rotten Tomatoes Lost fight for Binge Battle for Mark Ellis's show.
Nice.
And I will say, I didn't say dislike the finale. I said that it wasn't good. Doesn't mean I don't like it. Did you? Are you a Lost person?
Yeah, I loved it up until how many seasons total? 5, right?
6.
I loved it up until season like 3, a little bit of 4, and then after that, I was just like, I just didn't. I don't know. I feel like they just went in a completely different direction than what the show originally like set out to be. Like it was so good. It was so good. And then when we got to the finale, I was so not interested in the show anymore, but I still watched it because I had spent so many years watching the show that I was like, no, I'm going to finish it. And then when we finished it, I was just like, okay, well, there's that. Like I had no emotion, and that's sad because
I hear you. I hear you. It's like tough because it was so convoluted at points, but it was one of the greatest shows of all time. And I feel like it doesn't get a good rap after the fact because people remember the worst parts. But when you go back and watch some of the best episodes, it's like mind-blowingly good.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's tough. Ben Bateman, Nerds in Suits, says, love for Wendy. Have a great stream, ladies. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Oh my God, you and your wave. The cutest freaking wave.
This is how I would say hi to people when they come into to work. Hi.
I love. Hello, hello. Speaking of coming into work, so you obviously, like the rest of anybody in the world right now, are not able to go into work. What's happening over there?
So what's happening is that because of the stay at home or shelter in place or whatever the fuck you want to call it,
Yeah, what is it
order.
officially called? Is it officially shelter in place or safer at home? I never
Safer at
know.
home because they wanted to make it sound less threatening than shelter in
Yeah,
place. And I was like, look, just call it a lockdown. Let's just call
yeah.
it what it is.
We're in quarantine,
We're in
bitches. We know.
quarantine. It's fine. And oh, my study door just creepily opened because my dog just shoved his way in and creeped me out. Literally, I was like, is there a ghost in here?
Oh my God, creepy.
It was creepy, but it's just my dog. So naturally, our office, because it's a communal space, had to close because it has to adhere to the government's legally has
Yeah.
to do that. So we moved everything to kind of remote and digital. And for me, there really isn't much for me to do right now because as a coordinator for anything in studio shows and whatnot, nobody is coming to the studio, which means
Right.
I am not at the studio, which means I am kind of bound to being at home, kind of working on the movie couple stuff, still doing remote hosting gigs for Sideshow Collectibles, which has been a
Oh, that's
blessing.
great.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. They've been really great, always like checking in with me and be like, hey, how you doing? Do you feel like doing this? And and Dustin and I have our daily schedule of things that we're doing for the movie couple channel. We're actually live streaming, which I haven't done I don't think ever. Maybe we did one once upon a time, but now
Wait,
we
how often are
stream.
you live streaming? What exactly are you doing? How are you liking it? Tell me more.
So the first time we did it, I was actually like a little nervous, which is weird because if you think about how much I've worked in this like digital space and literally working with Collider and people like you and everybody and Christian, like live streaming should be like I shouldn't be a stranger to it. But I don't know, setting up everything and like knowing that we're live, I was just like, I don't know, what if I like royally fuck it up?
No, it's
Which I
nerve-wracking, I
haven't.
get it. It's like, no matter how many times you've been live on other people's things, being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go live on my own fucking YouTube channel." Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
like,
oh shit, I don't know what I'm
but the
doing.
buttons." Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of like Googling and I'm like, how does this work? Do I have a webcam? Well, I do have a webcam. Like I found it in a shoebox somewhere. So
What are
we go
you
live.
using? Is this your
I'm
webcam right now?
using
Because you look
the,
crystal clear.
yeah, I'm using I'm trying to look at it.
Was it
Sorry.
Logitech?
Yes,
That's
the
mine too.
HP 1080.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's a
mhm.
got little blue lights on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
I've
like
got
it.
the
It's cool.
similar, me too. I like it because it's easy as hell.
Yeah, you just plug it into your USB, into your laptop or computer, and you're done. And then what we talk about, and this was kind of like not directly what we wanted, just kind of evolved into that. But we actually cover some movie news, which is kind of surprising. That's something we do because, like, I just want to have a conversation with our viewers and just kind of shoot the shit, kind of like what we're doing here and doing some AMAs. But we also wanted to have a little bit of a structure and talk about some of the things we're interested in talking about. And as the movie couple, we watch a lot of movies, TV shows. We like Disneyland and all the geek stuff. So I'll start pulling topics, and people have responded really well to them. So we just kept on doing them. So those little topics are kind of conversation starters, and then we go back and forth with the chat.
I mean, you guys do such an amazing job on it, and I
Thank
do
you.
think that it's interesting that well, not interesting, but a lot of people are not able to work with the person that they're able to play with, uh, for lack of better words,
Yeah.
like, a lot of times you're good at being partners with somebody in a romantic sense, but not business partners. You guys are able to do both things. Struggles, issues, does quarantine make it harder, easier? What is the
Oh,
conversation like around that?
so I've been really lucky that my husband is 100, like 10,000% supportive of everything I do. So whether it's
Well, you
like
wouldn't have picked them otherwise.
oh, this is true. This
Yeah.
is true. And we've been together for a long time. So we've been married for 6 years, but we were together for 5 years before that. So we've been together 11 years. So there is a lot of like, I mean, communication is something we still try to work and improve on all the time, because I think sometimes we get to a point where we think each other are like mind readers, and we're not, and you have to vocalize what you're thinking and know how to vocalize that. So I think when it comes to the movie couple, we kind of break down the like, yes, we're husband and wife, but we're also like business partner in this. So we kind of take that approach and we make it a little bit like how I would, like producer versus producer. That's how we would talk to each other. And then once it's over, then it's over. So we don't generally disagree on anything. Like we have an open conversation about it. If one person feels really strongly about it, the other person gives and say, okay, you do what you got, what you want to do. And that's what we do, because it's not worth fighting over a YouTube channel. It's just not.
I'm right now on the front page of it, and there's the movie couple blooper.
Oh my gosh.
This is so funny. You guys are awesome together. Your rapport is so great.
Oh, thank you.
Jake, hopefully in the chat, you can right now put the link so that I can just put it up so everybody can go subscribe. Even though you have more subscribers than I do, just in case anybody over here is not subscribed yet, go and subscribe, of course.
By the way, Rox, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, lady.
I know. I remember when you first started it, and now look at, you're like 21K, right?
Yeah, this shit is scary, dude.
Insane. No, it's awesome. Now it's gonna snowball and it's just gonna blow up.
I'm trying. I mean, the start of this year, as you know, was like, holy crap, what just happened? And then the middle of the year, or a couple months in, was like, oh no, now I'm not just the only one who what just happened. We are in quarantine. So like, what is life? So thank freaking God I have this. Thank you, Jake, for putting that in there. Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, our Szany life. That was, believe it or not, our first iteration of our YouTube channel name before I changed it to The Movie Couple, because our last name is Szany, Szany. It's Hungarian. So
it's Hungarian?
He's Hungarian. He's part Hungarian and part, I don't know what else. Mixed bag.
I get it.
Things.
We call it, he's a mutt. That's what we call
He is a mutt. Yeah.
One day I'm going to offend somebody by saying that, but I call myself a mutt, so whatever. Yeah, I'm partially Hungarian. I'm Russian, Hungarian, Polish.
There you go.
Everybody who marries into my family is Italian, so I consider myself a little bit Italian, but it's not really the way that it works. We do have questions for you coming in all different places. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Also the Patreon right here in the super chat. So let's get to some of these, starting with my friend Glenn Caesar, who says, hello, Roxy and Wendy. Happy Thursday. It's great to have you on live at the Roxy Show, Wendy. Thanks for joining Roxy and virtually hanging out with us today. Glad to have you as a member of the #Rockstars band. Glenn is always so cute with his little introductions. Okay, Wendy, what do you like to do for fun when you're not working? Do you have any favorite games to play, music to listen to, books to read that you find yourself going back to on a regular basis because you love them so much, especially now during quarantine? So anything like that, Wendy? Games, listen, read?
So much. I mean, I would love anything. I wouldn't. I feel like a major case of FOMO that I'm not able to afford to purchase Animal Crossing New Horizon, because everybody and their mother is playing it, and I'm just like, I can't. That money's got to go to like food and rent and something else. So I'm not playing that. But we have like a shit ton of board games here at the house. So we actually have a game called Pandemic, where you try to save the world from a pandemic.
Oh my God, it's too close to home right now. No.
We actually played it at the beginning of the quarantine, and the first 2 rounds, we actually lost, and we only had 4 diseases to cure, and we were not even successful. I was like, you know what, this game I can't right now, so we put that away. There's other games like Munchkin, Sushi Party.
What is Munchkin?
Munchkin, it's kind of like an RPG game. Like, there's cards. It started off as a card game, and you can have a little Munchkin, and you can be like any class, like an elf, warrior, a human, wizard, whoever. And then you go on these like quests, and you basically beat monsters as you explore like a dungeon. It's like a very cute, almost like a pseudo, like a pre-K of D&D. If that's
I feel like it's for me. I love that.
You would love it. You would love it. When we can get together again, who knows when that'll be, but when we can get together, I'll bring it over. And
when do you think we'll be able to do that?
Well, I heard that things are, it's so sad. I heard that things are slowly reopening as of this Friday, like florists.
Yeah. The 15th is supposed to be the, you know, mean this Friday isn't tomorrow?
Like very few. That's what I read. And then the 15th, like I think the stay-at-home orders are starting to lift, but I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
No, that's accurate about the 15th. I feel like that we're not be able to like socially gather for months still.
Right. So then we're like, why do I want to leave the house? What am I leaving the house for?
I know.
I can't go see my friends. Can't go to Disneyland. That's like the one thing that I love doing.
Girl, I don't think 2020 is in your cards for
2020,
Disneyland.
2020 started off real crappy for me already. So I already knew, but I didn't know it was going to be
I
like
feel you,
this.
babe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel you.
Yep. Same boat. I remember
Face
that.
palm,
You
face
know, can we
palm.
go back to that like real
Yeah.
quick? That day I walked in and I think I told you like an asshole because I literally didn't know. And I was like, Roxy, Happy New Year.
Nobody knew, but you were amazing. You were like, hey, lady, what's up? And I was like, oh no, she doesn't
Yeah. And
know.
I was like, I don't know what. Like a
I
dumb.
literally asked you, didn't I? I was like, oh, babe, do you not know what's going on? You were like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
I was like, what's happened? And somebody was
I
like, I
know.
should talk to you. I was like, oh, what's going on? And
Yeah,
Mark's in the
yeah.
office, and I was
Well,
like,
because
oh,
I came out of the office. I've said this before, but like I think because he was just so overwhelmed with stuff. But Thad brought me into his office because Mark was out of town,
mhm.
and I said, oh, and Dorina was in there, and I said, oh, do you want me to leave the door open or closed? And he said, oh, you can leave it open. Like it was like a casual, So
Oh.
during it, Frosty came in like singing and was like, hey yo, somebody dropped a key on the floor, like whatever, like
He
literally.
probably didn't know either.
Oh, he had no idea. And then right after, I like literally the door was still open, and you were like, "Hello, Happy New Year," and I was like, "This door is open. It's like a very casual meeting." But then, yeah,
Yeah, I just felt really stupid. Like after the fact, I was like, ah,
no, nothing to feel stupid about. I mean, it made me, if anything, it made me feel better that it wasn't like this big thing that everybody knew, and I was the last
right,
to know. You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
Because like then I didn't feel as left in the
yeah.
dark. I guess.
That would be kind of crappy. I walked in and be like, hey, Rocks.
Yeah. I would have been like, shoot,
Like
everyone knows.
what? What's happened? Of course I'm okay. What's wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong? Going into the super chat, Dark Faith 66. Thanks for the Clone Wars reviews, movie couple.
You are
Dude,
welcome.
I
Those
keep
were
hearing that
fun.
I need to watch the most recent 4. I've
You
never
haven't
seen,
watched?
I don't watch the show. I don't watch the
Oh
show. Is it
no.
so good?
It's so good. It looks like an animated feature film.
Oh my
It
god.
should be because each part is about half an hour, just a little under half an hour. So if a fan edits them together, which somebody will, I'm sure, on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
it deserves to be on the big screen. The animation, some of the best I've ever seen. The story is like it takes you on an emotional roller coaster of Star Wars. So for all the Star Wars fans out there, like this is some good stuff.
Wait, you know what I just thought?
No.
This memory just came to me. Because you remember when we went to Horror Nights and you were so Wendy's like horribly afraid of clowns, and I didn't even know what was going on, and we did the maze, and afterwards I'm like holding the GoPro and Wendy's on the ground legitimately crying, and Wendy, I'm going with the GoPro, I'm going, Wendy.
I don't remember you doing that at all. But I do remember Frank pushing the camera like towards my face and then like pulling away really quickly because I think he felt bad. And then
Because everybody
Christian's
else
like, "Are
got it.
you okay? I'm really sorry."
Everybody else understood what was going on. I didn't. I was like, Wendy. You were like,
Believe it or not, Josh McCouga was like the saving grace that got me through that maze.
yeah, that he was.
Clearly.
You guys were great together for that. But imagine if you felt the way you felt after that maze about everything that he feels that way about. Like he's afraid of everything.
He's afraid. He's afraid of his own shadow. And I've seen Josh scare himself.
I know. It's like so horrifying. I feel bad. Chris McGovern says, "Great to see you and Wendy again."
Yes.
Wendy.
Hey, I gotta ask you, how
Yeah.
is World Girl going?
Yo, good, but pandemic is not great. I mean, like, here's the deal. We launched the show the St. Patrick's Day, so we launched it on March
That
17th.
episode looked so good.
Thank
So
you.
good.
We launched a couple days before that, so we wanted to do this like high production, this big thing that we've been working on for months, since I lost Collider and was like trying to look for other things. And, Dorina and I wanted to stay working together because we weren't able to do that together anymore. And with Steph, it just like came together and we were so proud of this thing and we were ready to shoot our second episode. And then pandemic hit and it was like, fuck. And then we had this and it was like, should we not release it because pandemic? That doesn't make sense. We want to release it. Hopefully this pandemic doesn't last too long. And then we couldn't. So we've been doing digital ones, which are awesome, but they're obviously, it's not the same concept of like this highly produced package that we want to do. We did an ASMR one that was goofy as hell.
Nice. I saw the chubby bunny one.
The chubby bunny one. So we're doing like littler things like that just so that we can do something together during this time.
Yeah.
So I love them. I love working with them. I love the idea. It just sucked that this happened. So it like we had to move around it because it completely changed. What are we supposed to do?
Can I like email you topics and suggestions for your show?
That's what Ellis keeps doing too. Ellis is like, oh my God. He's like, I want to teach stand-up comedy to you guys. Let's see if we can do that. He told me that he could get us a cryo pass to do what's it called with the cryo
cryotherapy.
Yeah, 100%. And we're also planning on having different guest people on. Like if there's a show that you have a good idea for, we would love to have you. Like we just want to include our friends and give things a try. Because why not? So yeah, I'm really into it. I'm just like bummed. Not bummed. There's way worse things in the world, but you know what I mean? Like we were so excited about this new launch.
Yeah, and especially like seeing how like that first episode went, I was like, oh, these girls have something. And I love all three of you individually, and I love you all together. Like the chemistry, the way you bounce off each other, like you can tell it's like real true friendship. It's not some like, oh, we're just turning it on for the camera, because knowing how you guys are already, like if the camera wasn't there, you still be the same.
The exact same thing. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. And that's like part of the beauty of it. But then like, you know, I feel annoyed about this happening right now. I'm sure there are people who have put millions of dollars into productions. So like, if I feel this annoyed after, I don't know, putting in a few $100, like imagine how people are feeling at that point.
What's like a dream episode for you?
You know, they want for me, two things I have not tried are riding a bike, and coffee. Yes. I don't know how to ride a bike and I have not had coffee ever. So they want me to give both those things a whirl. So those are my nightmare episodes because those are freaking scary. But I love extreme sports stuff. Like I don't know if it's called extreme sports. What's it called? Like skydiving. I want to try.
Yeah, bungee
jumping. Those are things I really want to try. And the thing that all of us really want to do if the channel ever got big, which would be like a dream, is travel and give different places a whirl. And we want to teach each other about our own heritages. So like give, you know, like one day if I could like take them to Israel or something, that'd be so crazy. Doreen wants to take us to Mexico. Steph wants to take us to Japan. Like we really want to do a traveling stuff, but obviously that's really fucking expensive. So, I mean, I think we're talking.
Well, it might not be after the pandemic and nobody's going to travel. So
that's
maybe
true.
You got something there.
When do you think the next time you're getting on a plane is going to be?
When I have to go see my parents. Not for leisure. It won't be for leisure for a long time. And it's sad because Dustin and I were planning a trip to New Zealand before all this. We were going to do it actually this October. That's
for fun.
Yeah, just for fun because I got to go for the Mulan set visit, but obviously that was like a work trip, so he couldn't come, and I was only there for 3 days.
How was that?
Oh, it was incredible. The set was incredible, and I know we can't talk about the movie too much because the embargo, obviously.
I haven't seen it. I have not seen it.
It's weird because it premiered, but then the pandemic happened,
and so the press screening was canceled. But anybody went to
and everything's pushed back. But the set was like spectacular, seeing all the horses and all the background actors and the stunt team, and watching Ife like do her own stunts. She's incredible. Like talk about being completely physically able to do literally, like I couldn't tell her apart from her stunt double.
Were you able to release footage of the set visit yet or not yet?
Wow. I mean, I have the articles up but we weren't allowed video. We weren't allowed to take photos. It was a very hush hush. So Disney did take a couple of photos like for us. So that's, I think it's either up on my social media or it might be on the Collider website. But I wrote 4 articles for Collider, about
such a once in a lifetime experience.
It was great. New Zealand has like such great air quality. We got off the plane and I was like, what is this? What is this pure oxygen I'm breathing? My lungs don't hurt. You know, coming from LA, everything's smog and like gray and gross.
Wait, I didn't even realize that Mulan shot in New Zealand though. Did it 100% shoot there?
It's shot partially in China and partially in New Zealand because Nikki
Okay.
Taro, the director, she's from New Zealand, so she really want to show both like the landscape of China as well as the landscape of her hometown, which is New Zealand, and then she also utilized a lot of like New Zealand actors in her movie as well as Chinese actors.
I can't wait to see that. Oh, it can't come soon enough. Whenever I get to, Mulan is one of my favorite. Every time they ask, everybody here knows that it's Aladdin and Lion King and Mulan. Those are my top 3, and I'm just waiting and waiting. Dark Faith says the ASMR episode is great because they're so bad at it. Wendy, check it out. We were really
How are you bad at ASMR? Don't you just whisper into a microphone?
Yeah, but imagine Darina trying to whisper. Can you even picture that? Like, not to throw her under the bus, none of us were great at it, but like, she literally cannot whisper. Like, and what was so funny?
What would she do?
I don't know. She just couldn't figure it out. But what's so funny was she could whisper in Spanish, but she couldn't whisper in English.
That for some reason makes sense because it's Dorina. It just makes sense to me that way.
It was incredible.
Did you guys do like splashy sounds too to the mic?
Oh my god, we did brushes and eating and drinking, and, like, pouring and page turning. We did everything.
Wow. I have to check it out.
So awkward and bad. But it was amazing at the same time. Jonathan Donzel says, Roxy and Wendy, thank you for all the great video with a heart. We appreciate you appreciating us. Certainly trying to put out great videos. Let's
Roxy,
go.
how do you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to ask you a question.
What do you got?
I was just wanting to know because I literally haven't talked to you. Like we text back and forth, but I literally haven't seen your face. What are you doing to pass time right now?
This every day. So like this is my only way. My friends that have come on this show. So one thing I've been very clear with you guys at home about is I'm not bringing anybody on the show that is not my friend right now because this is my time to hang out with my friends. So like I know that sounds so weird, but like the only people who are coming on are people that I'm like, I want to catch up with this person. I haven't been able to talk to this person. And this is the only time that I get to see any of them. So once a day, I know for an hour, I get to hang out with a friend. So that's really helpful to pass the time. I have been taking care of my grandparents and helping out with them. So that takes up some time. And then like because I take care of my grandparents part of the time, I can't order in food because I'm too nervous. So I cook every single meal. So that obviously actually takes up quite a bit of time too. Yep. I'm still working for a lot of these companies, like today I did shoot that for Rotten Tomatoes. I've been doing work for them and Fandango a couple times a week, which has been really nice. Screen Junkies had me still working on some things for a bit. I did an NFL piece for them. So that's been great. AfterBuzz has me still employed. Thank goodness for them. So I've been working editorial stuff for them. So just like trying.
You're still busy. I'm so glad to hear that.
Busy for sure. What about you? I know you talked about your channel, but right now, is there anything you are trying to do that isn't work related, like just for fun to pass the time? Board games, I know you said.
We've been just trying to explore various like things that we haven't really been able to watch. So for me, I've gone down the rabbit hole of like K-drama, like Korean drama all over again. I just found out one of my favorite Korean actors is in a show on Netflix. It's called like The King Monarch Eternal or something like that. His name is Lee Min-ho. He's so hot. Don't tell my husband, even though I think he knows.
You're not allowed to think somebody's hot. You're not blind.
I can. That's true. That's true. It's true. I'm not going to do anything. It's not like I wouldn't want to anyways. But it's just funny that it's just kind of like at night he'll watch me watch my K-drama and like he won't understand anything and I can't really understand Korean that well, but I can
do subtitles.
Subtitles, yeah. But I'll just like sit there and laughing to myself and like cry laughing sometimes because the humor is so different from like the US stuff. So we've been doing that a lot. I'm trying to think, like, honestly, it's kind of like a endless cycle of like, okay, let's shoot these videos. Okay, now let's edit these videos because we have to like edit them. That takes up a lot of time.
It's a lot of work. That's mostly what you're doing too. Yeah. It's like I want to be vegging out a little more, but it can't fully. More questions coming in for you from the Streamlabs. Weston Ira says, welcome to Roxy. So that must be Wendy and Roxy.
Oh, cute.
I love our ship name. Have you ever gotten into a show or movie after it had already debuted for some time? Biggest one like that for me was Avatar show because of the Black Sun one. Now I recommend it to anyone and everyone. Currently slowly binging The Boys. Oh, The Boys is great too.
Mhm.
A show after the fact. Have you ever gotten into one?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Just recently, I finally sat down and watched it all the way through. I have seen this movie before, but in pieces and never in, one like straight, just like couch session. But I actually finally watched Train to Busan. It's so good. It's a Korean zombie movie.
I don't know it.
Oh my God, it's so gruesome. It's so good.
Really? Wow.
The outbreak of zombie happens, and one zombie gets on a train. And so imagine that.
Right now.
It's
No.
bananas. No,
I don't
no,
wanna
no.
see anything on a
You'll be
train.
okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay
Okay.
with it.
I like horror things. I like zombie stuff. So
Yeah, you can
maybe
do
into
it.
I started because of Josh McCouga, maybe 2 weeks ago, I started binging Peaky Blinders.
Oh, he loves
That
that
show
show.
is so good. I know. So I know I'm far behind because they're 5 seasons in, but I finally was like, all right, listen, I hosted a show with Josh called Hypothetical Questions for over a year. Him and I are like TV buddies. He's been telling me for years to watch this show. I have to do it. We're in quarantine. How am I going to not? And it is unbelievable.
It's
Oh,
real
it's
good.
so good. I'm so into it. So great question. And also thank you so much for the support, Weston. You rock. He has another one. He said, having just received my first Baby Yoda shirt, I was wondering, what do you think the child's name should be and what do you think it will be? I think it should be Shepherd, Kakarot, or Ezio. I think it will be either Soda or Earl. Okay, first of all, Weston, you're the first person to ask me this, so I'm so
That's
excited about
amazing.
this question. Am I saying that right? Kakarot or Ezio? Are those? Is there any significance for that?
That doesn't ring a
I
bell
don't
to
know.
me.
What do you think? What do you think Baby Yoda's name is? And what do you want it to be?
My friends and I have been calling it Boda, which stands for like a ship name for a baby Yoda together. Boda. I feel like it start with a Y. It's like Yoda and Yaddle.
Yeah,
Yiddle. Like because it's little. Yiddle.
maybe with like an S, somewhat like Yishi or like
Yoshi.
Yish.
Oh, Yoshi's cute.
Yishi's cute.
It sounds like a Jedi name.
Weston says that Kakarot is from Dragon Ball Z. Gotcha. I don't know. What do I think? Soda or Earl? Why would it be Earl?
Earl, Carl,
Carl.
Carl.
Me,
Just
I
call the
think
Yoda,
it's me,
baby
Carl, and the
Yoda
dying
Carl.
girl. I mean, I think it would be so funny if it was a name like Brian, Tom, like
Chad.
Chad. Yeah, that would be like ridiculous.
Like the most
Oh,
common name.
that link in the chat says Yando, like Mando
Yando.
with a Y. That's kind of
Oh,
good.
cute.
Yando could be really.
Yando. I like Yando. That's cute.
I don't know. Well, who's gonna name him?
Mondo will. He'll name it.
Will?
Probably not. He doesn't seem very cuddly.
Mm,
Like, he's all like hardcore and he's showing a little bit of his soft side, but
if he's the one who names him, he's gonna have some dumb name like Metal or like
call it Clutch or something like that because I'd always like to play with the little metal gear on the ship.
Yeah. Vanja says Sanwa.
Sanwa. Sanwa? Sanwa.
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 Uh,
Sanwa.
and guys, if you're watching this after the fact, leave in the comments who you think, what you think the name would be. I would love to hear more.
I want it to be such a plain, just like a layman's name, like a Chad or a James or a Nick.
Do you think we're going to be happy with whatever it is?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Us Star Wars fans happy? Never.
That's a tough job to give a name to Baby Yoda. All right, so many more questions coming in. Let's get to some of these. Glenn says, Wendy, growing up as a kid, what was your favorite place to visit and spend time for vacation? And as an adult, what's your favorite place to visit and spend time?
Oh, well, I grew up in Taiwan and then I moved to the States when I was about 11 or 12. And one of the things that my mom did, so she actually sent me on like a summer trip. You're going to hear coughing, that's from my dog.
Oh my God. It sounds like a
Yeah.
sneeze.
So it's kind of cute. Somebody like he coughed during one of my live streams and somebody's like, "Do you have a kid?" I'm like, "No, I don't have a kid. It's my dog. I have a fur baby."
From all of us.
So my mom, in like luring me to be like, "Oh, look, you want to go and study abroad in the United States?" So the way she did it was like, "Hey, you want to go spend a summer in Florida? We'll take you to Disneyland and you can eat McDonald's." And believe it or not, that stuck because then I was like obsessed. Like anytime we got to go to McDonald's was such a treat. I was like, McDonald's, yes, kids meal and chicken nuggets. And then it was like, because I lived in Florida, she actually bought me a season pass. My mom, my aunt bought me a season pass.
No
And
way.
yeah, to kind of, and then after that, she's like, so do you want to stay here to study? And I was like, and can I go to Disney World? And she's like, yeah, you can go to Disney World. I was like, all right, I'm staying. Like I didn't even see, I didn't understand like the
Wait,
weight
how
of
old
that
were you at
question
that
at all. I was like 11 or 12. So like fourth grade.
So who did you live with?
My aunt, she's a US citizen and she lived here. She like lived and worked in Florida.
Hmm.
So my mom would travel back and forth and I would just like do my studies here.
Why did your mom want you here so bad?
She didn't like, there's two things. She didn't like the school system in Taiwan. She thought it was like really just way too strict and puts too much pressure on a kid. And she was like, yeah, I gotta change it up for her. But the other reason, I think it's the bigger reason, is my mom and dad's relationship were on the fritz at that time. And I think she seriously thought about like leaving him, filing for a divorce. And back then, the custody rule, the child would have gone to the dad regardless of the relationship between the mom and the kid. They changed it. That's totally not the case now. But that's the reason why. So she was doing it kind of as a precaution if she decided to take that step.
What ended up
Um,
happening to them?
Nothing ended up happening on her end. Her and my dad and her are still together, and it's like I think they had a lot to work through, but they're actually really great now. Seeing because I just saw them in 2018. Dustin and I traveled back to Taiwan, so they're totally good. Which I was like, wow, okay. And what happened was like she didn't want to keep like moving me around as she was making friends, and I finally had adapted, and she was like, let me just have her stay here.
Yeah.
And I had just gotten my citizenship. So she was like, well, I guess you might as well stay.
Are you glad that you went and that you decided McDonald's and Disney rule and this is where I'm staying?
I think so, because I can't imagine what kind of a life I would have had in Taiwan. I think I would have gone like the route of like, I hate to say it, like the typical, like my parents wanted me to have the career of a doctor or a lawyer, neither of which I think I would have been good at, neither of which I was interested in at all. I obviously chose like entertainment, which wouldn't have really flown in Taiwan. She would have been like, why do you want to do this? Like there would have been no support. But being out here, after college, I kind of got to decide my own destiny. And, I picked up my bags and I said, see you later, Florida. It's been real. And I decided to drive out to LA.
What did they
Do
think about
acting.
that when you
Oh, my mom,
Oh,
oh, my mom hated it. She hated it. She hated the idea. She said, don't you realize how expensive it is in LA? Do you even have enough money saved up? Why do you want to do acting? That's not what we put you in school for. Da, 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 da. And then my dad's like, oh, let her do what she wants. If she
hmm.
doesn't make it, then she'll experience that. If she makes it, then she'll experience that. And my aunt was very supportive. So
The one that lives in Florida.
yeah. So actually my mom and I didn't talk for a while
Like
because we
months,
disagreed
years?
so much. Years.
Wow.
Yeah, like 2.5, maybe 3 years. Like we didn't talk, and except for like to kind of just check in on each other to make sure like she was like healthy and stuff like that. But like we had a huge argument. And we just didn't see eye to eye. We didn't understand each other's point of view. And I was kind of like, I'm done. I'm done talking to you. Like I'm an adult. I'm leaving.
What made you guys start talking again?
It was actually my aunt. I had talked to her and she said, you should call your mom. And I was like, I don't want to talk to her. She doesn't understand what I'm saying. She's like, oh, Wendy, you got to put that behind you. She's
And
like,
that just
you
made
got
you
it.
mind you?
Yeah. Yeah. My aunt's like no BS. She'll say what's on her mind, and she doesn't really think, especially talking to people like that she's really close to, like family and friends that she's very close to. She doesn't hold back, and she'll let you know, like, you're being immature. And she said, it's been so long, this is ridiculous. Like, just, she's like, that's your mom. You got to let it go. You got to
I
let it go.
also remember, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I remember talking to you and you telling me that your parents and your husband didn't actually meet for quite some time.
So when I got engaged, Dustin actually phoned Taiwan and talked to both of my parents. And he told me this after the fact, after he proposed. And he said, I want you to know that, like, I called and I asked for permission and blessing
But he
from your
hadn't met
parents.
them.
He hadn't met them. He doesn't speak Chinese. My parents can't speak English, but when they get nervous, they just clam up and they don't want to speak it. And I was like, so how did the conversation go? And she said, and my mom said, like, it was fine, but your dad was so nervous. He didn't say anything. He just said, he grunted like a kind of like an approval and like okay, you just take care of her.
But they knew you were dating him.
My mom knew because my mom and I started talking again. So she knew that, I was dating Dustin for a while. And so she probably suspected that it was coming, but my dad didn't know. So he went from having like a daughter who never had, he never dealt with me having like a boyfriend, period, because he wasn't here. He didn't have to deal with any of that, to like, hey, surprise, she's getting married.
But he
So
did
that
approve.
was a shocker. He did approve, but I think it's probably like, well, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? So in 2018, Dustin and I planned this huge trip to visit Taiwan to see my family, and then to Japan for Disneyland. And that's when
rewinding. So did you not invite them to the wedding, or they just didn't?
Oh, yeah. So I did. I invited a lot of people from my side of the family from Taiwan, but because it's such a long trip and really expensive, I knew that most of them couldn't come. My mom was like, oh, I'm going to be there for sure. Like, my only daughter getting married, I'm not missing it. My dad has a lot of medical issues, and he has like really bad anxiety, like terrible anxiety. And being put on like a 20-hour plus flight is just not ideal for him. And I know he felt really bad because I talked to him on the phone after the fact, or before. And he said, I really want to be there for you. Do you want me to try? And I was like, no, because what if something happens on the way here? And for a wedding, when I can just go back and see you, whenever, like,
yeah,
don't do that. But he felt terribly. And I said, don't worry about it. And everybody at the wedding was like, where's your dad? And I was like, look, he can't find, what really pissed me off too? A lot of people are like, well, couldn't he just like, like take some like sleeping pills and like just fall asleep? And I was like, I'm not going to subject my dad to like some sort of drug.
It's also none of their business. It's your relationship with your dad. And if you're okay with it, then it's okay.
Yeah, I was totally okay with it. And I never expected that he was going to come. I never expected it. And because I knew like his health was a big deal. In fact, he's been quarantined at home in Taiwan for a long time because his health problems. So he can't go out. So he hasn't gone out for like 2 months now, maybe 3.
So then in 2018, you guys decide to take the trip. And how did it go? First of all, both of you guys must have been so nervous.
I was really excited because I was excited to show Dustin Taiwan. I was excited to have him meet my family, and he was excited, but I think he was also nervous because of the language barrier and obviously meeting all the people he didn't know. And I think a part of him was maybe just kind of like, what are they going to think like Wendy's husband's white? And I was like,
did they not know?
No, I think they knew, but I don't think they care. I don't think they care. I think they were just like excited to be like, oh my gosh, we finally get to meet the husband after they were married for 4 years. So after my mom and my aunt, my mom's sister, picked us up at the airport, we basically went straight to the house to see my dad. And I was so excited to see him. I hadn't seen him in like years, aside from like Skype and phone calls and things like that. He saw me and I like, held out my hands to give him a hug. And he does this, pushes me off to the side and like does this to Dustin. He's like, oh, so nice to meet you. And I was just like,
that's sweet though.
It was very sweet. He's like, look, I've known you for years. I've never met your husband. I was like, okay, fine.
Wow. Well, I'm glad it went well.
It did. It was good. We're going to have to visit again.
It would have been not great if it didn't, because already married. So signed, sealed, delivered.
Sorry, too late.
Still questions coming in, but shout out to NFL Caleb 22. Thank you for the super chat. Going back into the Patreon. Let's see. This one is coming in from Douglas Emmett, who says, "Hey, Wendy, hope you're doing well throughout quarantine. My question is, after this quarantine is over, if you could travel anywhere around the world, where would you want to go? Also, what are some of your favorite movies?"
Oh, I would travel. New Zealand's on the list. For sure, we're gonna want to do like a big tour in New Zealand, and we want to see like the film locations and things like that. We want to go back to Queenstown, which is where I visited in 2018, and then we definitely want to go back to Japan because when we went, we only had 3 days. It was not a lot. Again, 2 days was devoted to Disneyland, so we have to go back and do it proper. And I think we want to visit like Europe, just anywhere in Europe.
Just travel. Travel sounds so good.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm afraid now. I don't know. What do I do?
I know.
I have this like whole supply of masks. They're just ever growing. I keep getting masks for myself.
I know, it's scary when you can find one. It's like you got to get it.
Yeah.
What about the movies part of it?
Oh, favorite movie. The Fifth Element is a favorite. The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. Those are favorites. Parasite is a favorite.
Look at you. Great picks.
What about you?
Good Will Hunting's my favorite ever. I love that movie.
So
it has my whole heart. Jake Yakavetta says, "At least it wasn't a clown that opened Wendy's door. ... Too soon? Question mark."
What?
Good one, Jake. Vince, Wendy.
Wendy.
Vince says, "Roxy, have been missing you. Hope you and Wendy Lee have been doing well." Thanks, Vince. I think we're doing well, all things considered.
Yeah.
King Roman, he says, "Great show today. Roxy, you're an amazing interviewer. You make it feel like chatting up with an old friend." Well, it helps that we are friends. Wendy, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. Yeah.
Hey.
You guys are just being so kind. Appreciate
Roxy,
it.
you are a really good interviewer. You really are.
I feel like, truthfully, Wendy, you're one of the first people who's come on the stream who's asked me as many questions as I've asked them. So right back at you.
Thank you. I want to know what's going on with you.
I know. I want to know what's going on with you. Okay, Mr. Caesar in here. He always likes to ask food-related questions to every guest. So these are 4 food-related questions. The first one is, what's your favorite meal to have when you're feeling out of sorts?
I like to get a big bowl of beef udon.
That sounds so good right now. It's insane.
My God. It's really, really good. There's this place just right down the street that have it, but obviously they're closed right now. So they're not even doing like pickups. They're just closed because I've walked by a couple of times.
Sounds so good right now.
Even in like 95-degree weather, I'll have it.
That's me with tea. That's me with udon. I'll have hot no matter what. Okay, the second part is favorite breakfast food.
Bacon, crispy bacon.
My God, you're my girl.
Yes.
Number 3, favorite dessert.
Oh no. Does a drink count? Does a sweet drink count?
I guess it depends on what it is.
Boba tea. Boba milk tea.
I feel like that's not a dessert.
Okay. Then tiramisu.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like that's why I feel like it's more like drinky.
Yeah. Like if you were gonna say like root beer float, then I would say that's dessert.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Legit.
I'm putting rules on this. I've never had tiramisu because I don't do coffee. Isn't that the one that's got like the coffee?
Yeah, it's got coffee liqueur. Yeah, it's got a little bit of coffee in there. Oh, I wonder if you would like it or hate it. But you've never had coffee ever?
One time I tried a scoop of coffee ice cream.
Did you hate it?
I just didn't get it.
Because it's bitter?
I was like, what is this? As a kid.
I can imagine your face, like if you like, you know how if you give kids like a lemon to suck on?
Yeah.
Like, and they scrunch up their face. I wonder if that's going to be you when you have coffee.
I'm going to try it. I'll give it a whirl. We'll see.
I can't wait. I'm definitely tuning in for that episode.
Part 4 is, what's your favorite late night snack?
You're going to make fun of me for this.
No, I won't.
Top ramen.
Wait, dude, literally love Top Ramen so much. I was talking to them on the stream. I literally was telling everybody on the stream the other day that I have Top Ramen like 4 times a week now.
Have you ever tried putting mashed potato on top ramen?
I literally can't even picture what that would be like. Wouldn't it melt?
I don't know. We were doing like, it was actually last night. We were up pretty late last night. We're doing like a remote Zoom D&D game, a campaign, sorry, with our friends. And God, I'm such a such a nerd.
I love that.
But we all decided, like, let's take a quick break. We're gonna make some like very quick dinner and sit back down before we get into the next phase. And they're eating something, and I couldn't tell through the Zoom camera. I'm like, what is that you're eating? They're like, oh, it's top ramen and instant mashed potato on top of it. I'm like, that sounds intriguing and also really good. So I've never tried it, but I'm gonna make it.
I don't get how you can put it on top though. Does it make the whole thing just like,
or is it like kind of like
thick?
that foam that you put it on top and it's just like wet, like a gravy, like it's just sitting in gravy?
I don't know. I gotta try that.
Report back.
Yeah, please report back.
To make it back.
Need text. I'll let you let me know and I'll let them know. Must know. Okay, more things coming in. Weston says, Wendy, are you still doing stuff with her universe? I think you mentioned something along the lines before. And are you on your way into Star Wars? Are you on your way into Star Wars? Also, shout out to Jen for her shout out of her trip to Live at the Roxy on her Instagram live yesterday. Oh, I didn't see that. What does it mean? Are you on your way into Star Wars?
I don't know. I'm already into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, maybe am I going to Celebration?
I have no idea. But what about the Her Universe stuff?
So Her Universe, my last like direct involvement with them was I was lucky enough to be offered to walk in the show, and it was in 2018 at San Diego Comic-Con. So I got to walk the show. I got to be back.
Awesome.
It was so cool. It was really so cool. What a great opportunity. I'll never forget. So thank you to Ashley Eckstein and her team for making that happen. And lately, because of the geek fashion blog that I have, I just write about it as much as I can, not because I don't do it because I like feel like I owe it to them or anything like that, or that I think I'm going to get something from it. That's not why I them. I just like them. And I like what, Ashley's whole journey with Her Universe, how she founded that whole company before she sold it to Hot Topic. And I really support what she did for the brand, what she did for the fangirls of Star Wars and like the geek community around the world. So I want to continuously like to support Ashley in that way and to support Her Universe. So I will always write about them as long as I can.
What a beautiful answer you just gave.
Thank you.
Yeah. Patreon. Ira says, what's your favorite thing about this year so far? Oh, I like this question because this year has been total dumpster fire. So it forces you to think, what's your favorite thing about it so far?
My knee-jerk reaction was none of it. I hate it. None of it. My favorite thing this year so far is probably the writing the Mulan articles for Collider and attending the premiere. Just because I was so happy to be
pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah, all the people getting to see the movie, from like just having the experience at the set visit and see how everything played out on screen. It's pretty incredible to have that like full circle journey. So I really appreciate that happened before we all went into lockdown.
I think also like that we're alive and healthy, it just makes like the answer to the question, it makes it like everything. I feel like grateful when I eat, grateful when my friends are okay, grateful when my grandparents, just like everything. Grateful that you have a great loving relationship, that there's a roof over my head. I can't even imagine being homeless in general is horrible, but being homeless during this time when there's nobody even to give or out or help or anything. I mean, so yes, this year has been actually a load of piling dog shit, but there are good things, for sure.
I have 2 questions for you.
What do you got?
What do you think your outlook is after this pandemic? Like how are you going to live your everyday life after all the restrictions are like lifted? Let's just say hypothetically there's a vaccine and everything and everything's fine, but like how differently do you think you're going to be living your life after this?
Think about it all the time because I don't know. I find myself somebody who catches through the last few years myself being bratty with certain things like, wah, wah, wah. And then I catch myself and I'm like, no, Roxy, this is fucking awesome. You're super grateful to live in LA. I have an apartment and a bed and a refrigerator, like shit that a lot of people don't have. So I know that I'm going to keep trying to be grateful through things, but I also know that I moved out here like you. I'm an actress. And that's what I want to do with my life. So I love this channel because I get to tell people stories and talk to my friends and help them and have them help me share each other's lives. But I came here to be an actress and a writer, and that's when this is done. That's what I fully fucking intend on doing.
Yeah,
You know, being a host is amazing, and I love that too. But I came out here with a purpose, and I got to figure out a way to make that happen. So
for sure.
I think, what about for you? How do you think you will change after this?
I think it's funny that you talked about acting too, because that was actually my follow-up question. Because I know that's like kind of the journey we're both going on. So I wanted to
Yeah,
see how you've been doing with that. I think uh, I am already such like a weirdly paranoid person about a lot of things. Like I'm always watching my surrounding, and maybe it's because I've had some like bad experiences in the past. So I try to be just like always kind
careful.
of looking over my back and stuff like that. And for a long time, like before I met Dustin, it was just me here in LA. I didn't really have people to depend on at all. So, and even if you do, sometimes it's kind of like they can't come and rescue you at that very moment. So you're like on your own. After this, I think I'm going to still exercise. I think it's going to be really hard for me to like walk freely into a store and just grab produce off the aisle and be in line, like everything's okay. I think I'm just worried that like I just don't want to take the chances of catching this crazy thing because I know people. I have friends who have had it and survived it, and the experiences they have. It's nothing extreme. Like they weren't put on ventilators, they didn't go to the ER. So I would say they had a quote unquote like scientifically they're calling it mild cases, right? But the things that they have gone through, I was like, well, I don't want to go through even in like an ounce of that. So no thanks. I think a lot of things that I was used to doing, like taking Ubers, going to Disneyland, eating at restaurants, and like going to bars and stuff like that. I think that's gonna all really change because I feel like
What
my
are you going to do?
anxiety for
Not
the
go? Are you
I
going to?
no, and that would suck. See, I don't want to restrict myself on that either. So I think it's gonna just maybe mask up and go and wash my hands a lot and don't touch my face.
I think that once there's a vaccination, we can go back to you can go to Disneyland
Yeah,
and you can feel safe about it. But right
yeah.
now I'm with you where I'm not going to just for fun on a Friday go to a bar. I'm not
Where
going to
you
just
touch everything.
yeah, I'm just not going to that's just not what my life is going to be.
Yeah,
Or more than a bar like go out dancing and sweating next to
yeah.
hundreds of people. I mean, we just can't do it right now. Like
No.
I know, it makes me like literally when I watch scenes in movies,
Doesn't it give you anxiety? You're like,
I'm like
oh,
6 feet,
6 feet.
6 feet, literally it. Um, but yeah, yeah. What was it? Did you have a second one? Oh, it was about
No,
the acting. It was
yeah,
about
oh
the
yeah,
act.
yeah, the acting, like how that's changing because when the pandemic, I mean, I've had pilot season was just okay for me. I went out some, but I think the 2019 auditions as an overall, I mean, I guess it's not a really fair marker because 2020 has been just so blah. But
Yeah.
2019, I had a lot of really great auditions. I got into a lot of really great offices and had some good opportunities for auditions and callbacks. So that was great. 2020 started off real weird for me because I thought my pilot season was going to go one way, and it didn't go the way I had wanted to, which kind of was kind of like, what am I doing? Do I need to work harder? But then the pandemic happened, so it's just now I don't know what to think. Like casting is going to be really different. Like taking a class over Zoom is just so weird.
I'm doing it right now. I'm in a sketch class and it's unique. Like I'm really liking it, but you have to be super effing dedicated to like the actual writing process and then rehearsing by yourself and then doing, it's a completely different experience. It's
Yeah.
very challenging.
I think at this point, if actors out there or aspiring actors haven't upped their self-tape games, this is the time to invest in some good camera or at least some good lighting. You can probably just tape it on your iPhone, but
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least get some
and
good lighting.
yeah, that ring light, that softbox, that whatever life you can do,
Hmm.
you have to be able to self tape.
Yeah,
Get
they're not
that
going to be
blank
calling us
background.
in anytime soon. Crafty service on set. Goodbye.
Yeah, I know, I know.
None of
And if
that.
they had it, you would need it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Be like, can I get that? Like a new one in a wrapper?
Yeah. A lot
That'll
of
be
power
me.
bars, a lot of pre-wrap things.
And then real quick,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, go ahead. Why are you
Circling
sorry?
back to, because I feel bad I was cutting you off. I was like, oh no,
No, we're
wait.
getting out of here soon anyway, so I'm just
Okay.
talking to you at this point. What's going
Yay.
on?
Um, I like what you were talking about earlier before we got into the whole acting thing. You were talking about just being grateful to be, breathing and living and having a place to live and, being able to feed yourself and stuff like that. And I just want to say, I know like that's so genuine, like it's a very genuine part of you and sincere part of you, because years ago, you might not remember this, but we were at the old Collider building. It was for a Schmoe's taping. I don't remember what it was, but you were talking to Kalinowski, just off to the side. It wasn't on camera. And you said, we have to be grateful. I don't know what you guys were talking about. And I think either you were upset or he was upset, or maybe you were both upset about something. I don't know what it was exactly, because maybe it didn't have anything to do with the Schmoedown at that point. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't on camera. But you said, we have to be grateful. We have to remember to be grateful. And I just went, that's a really great way to like taking a look at whatever situation you guys were dealing with at that time. And it seemed like, you were both pretty affected by it. Yeah. But like when you said that, I think in turn, he kind of just gave it a thought and he went and nodded his head. And then you guys both kind of like turned a new leaf and you're like, okay. And I was like, well, that's a way to look at things. Instead of saying angry, be grateful.
I have needed people to remind me of that at key moments in my life, and I've needed to remind other people of that. But like, if you are in this chat right now, that means you have a device in which to be in this chat right now. And even to have that, to be able to connect to people, whether it's a phone or a computer or whatever, like if you're having a hard time thinking of what you're grateful for this year, like you are literally connecting with people right now. And there are some people, there are millions of people on the planet right now that are unable to connect. They are, I don't even want to go down a whole spiral, but I've been really looking into, because it's one of Steph's major causes, into domestic violence during this time of quarantine. And I mean, people, women and men who are in situations that they can't fucking get out of because we are stay at home, they are not allowed to leave, and they are not only getting injured, they are dying. They are dying in their houses right now. And there are people right now who are dead in their houses that we don't even fucking know they're dead there because nobody can go and check on them. And that's just the reality of the situation we're living in. They had no access to the outside world, no phones, no computer, no internet. And like it breaks my fucking heart to think about that. And so if you're in here right now, you have access and connection to other people. You are able to, you're on the web, which is a resource within itself. And honestly, like if that's not something to be grateful for, then I don't know what is, because it's so much better off than so many people have it. So but I need to say it to myself sometimes too, because like I said earlier on this, I get bratty all the time. Like, oh, like I
do not
can't afford the nicer steak this week.
I do not remember you being bratty at all. I feel like I was the bratty one that's like, Roxy, stop grabbing all my snacks from the break room.
I did do that. I was hungry. I felt so bad. I remember one time you had set up all these things and I didn't know. I went in there and I was like, ooh, power bars, took one. And you were like, you literally just put those there for our guest. And I was like, oopsies.
But you're like, okay, sorry, next time. And I think I was like, there was like a stockpile elsewhere in the office that everybody has access to.
Yeah, you were like, just ask me, I'll give you one.
I was like, you can have whatever you want, but it's like it was set up. But yeah, the boys would do that too, and I'm like, who took it? Who took it? Nobody would speak up because they know I'd want to kill them.
All the tea that I always wanted to take. There's always tea. There's another one coming in the Streamlabs, and then we do have to get out of here. But this one's coming in from Glenn, who says, thanks for giving us a super fun show today, Roxy and Wendy. This was great. 2 thumbs up. Here's my last question. It's another one of his favorites to ask guests. Nice. Wendy, if you could pick any special ability or superpower, what would it be? And then he gives examples: wish granting, telekinesis, etc.
I would pick the ability to manipulate time.
Wild. We haven't had that answer on the show before.
I want to, and I could probably do the whole Doctor Strange thing where I adjust one thing in my past and that just domino affects the rest of,
Is there a specific thing that you would do? There's a specific one? You don't have to
This,
share, just wondering.
yeah, there is. It's more personal. I won't share it on air, but I'll tell you after. I'll tell
But
you after
so
what it
there's
is.
a moment that you want to change.
Yep.
Wild.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I would just be so scared that even the worst things that ever have happened to me, if I changed them, I wouldn't be me. Which is
Yeah,
like
that's true.
that's
That's true.
scary.
But what I would change isn't me. Is
Oh,
it's something that would happen to somebody. And I want to go back and try to not completely change it because I don't know if you, but just maybe say something or insist on doing something for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have moments like that I can think of, trying to change people's perspective on something so that they can whatever it is. But that's such an interesting one. Manipulate time.
Yeah.
Who can do that? Doctor Strange kind of can
Doctor Strange,
manipulate
the
time.
Flash.
Yeah, that's true.
We would
There's
have
always
to,
consequences though.
yep, 5 million different timelines and different
Oh
Earths.
boy. That show has gotten quite confusing.
I
Anyway, guys.
haven't watched it in a long
Oh,
time.
I'm behind a couple episodes, but they are certainly playing with time a lot.
Oh boy.
Planes, places, locations,
Oh.
a lot going on. A lot going on. Anyway, everybody at home, thank you guys for being here with us today. A special round of applause for Wendy. Woo! Wendy, I know you already kind of talked about where and all the things you're working on, but one more time, where they can find you, where they can subscribe, where they can follow you, like all the things.
Oh, thank you. You can find me on YouTube and just search the Movie Couple channel or Our Zany Life. Both of those work. But the Movie Couple channel on YouTube, we live stream every Wednesday and Saturday, and we're trying to put up daily content every day. We haven't skipped a day so far since the pandemic started, so that's going great. And you can find me on. Woo, I know, consistency is the key.
Oh, girl, I know everybody uses that word. Be consistent. I'm like, I'm trying.
Be consistent. Be consistent. And then right down here where you see on the little sidebar on Twitter and Instagram at Wendy Lee Szany.
You're the best. You make me
best.
want to do this. The little wave. This
I taught you something new today.
This.
You did it. You just pinch your fingers together.
I'm trying. It's just so weird. This one, they look so different from each other. I'll work on it, guys. Oh, Jake, thank you for putting this in here. Everybody click on that. Go subscribe.
Thank you, Jake.
Wendy, you're the best. You guys at home are amazing. Let's look at the schedule coming up just to get you guys prepped for some people. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a solo stream. We go at 2:30 because it's Friday. So I go after DC movie news. I'm not sure. We finished building the Friends Lego set. So we'll see what kind of fun activity we can do tomorrow. I like the Friday ones to be like games and activities. When did you have an idea? That face looks like you know something.
Do you have any more Lego sets or do you have to buy
more?
No,
I built it. I have to buy more.
I think you should give a try at origami, like paper folding.
I do like origami. That's kind of a cool one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that. I'll keep you guys posted on Saturday. Kaiser's coming on, so excited about that because he's a wild beast. And Sabrina is coming on Monday. So those are some of my upcoming guests. I'll keep you guys posted on the rest of them as it happens. Again, Wendy, you are amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing.
I'll see you guys tomorrow live at the Roxy. Just did a weird eyebrow thing.
The Rock.